Hi Leo, I hope that you're all doing well. We're here with your reading, what you need to know for October. The first card that we have out is Ten of Swords, and we also have Six of Pentacles. Ten of Swords and Six of Pentacles feels like something that has been needing to be addressed and needing to be figured out that now is concluding. To have Six of Pentacles here, this feels like it's trying to establish balance where there may be a lack of that. Having Six of Pentacles, this can be within an exchange, Leo. So it can be within a friendship, you trying to establish some sort of balance. It can be within a work situation, you're trying to establish some sort of balance so that you can move forward. What this does feel like is that maybe something actually wasn't living up to a standard that you have. Maybe something didn't feel like it was reciprocal, and you can feel like you have to move forward because it doesn't align with your values. Simultaneously, you can feel like I'm making a decision based off of my standards here and based off of my values and what I feel is fair and what I feel is right. Simultaneously, you can feel like in order for you to work through this, that you also have to face pain as well. This is about you moving forward, and it feels like if you truly want to move forward, you're going to have to go through this first, and this can be something painful to address. But it feels necessary if you want to move forward. Keep in mind, this can be unfolding all throughout October, so it's not just going to be like one day all of this stuff happens. This will be themes occurring all throughout the month. This means too that something can be finalized, something can be finished now. Like that's not going to be happening anymore, and it can be difficult to do that. It can feel difficult to do that. Simultaneously, it can feel like these are my standards, and if I want to ensure that I'm participating in things that feel balanced and feel fair to me and feel aligned with my values, this is a move that I must make. That can mean too that if you feel like something isn't, if you feel like something is ripping you off in some way, it can be a time when you address that. And it looks like it's not going to be easy to do this, but you can feel like you have standards and you have to honor them. You know, this can be something, someone coming around. For some of you, it's a work situation, coming around and wanting something from you, but then not giving you what you would need in return for this to be sustainable. And there can be a part of you that doesn't want, like you wouldn't prefer to do this, but you can feel like you have to. If you're going to honor your values, because ultimately what this comes down to is that if you're in a situation and you feel like it doesn't align with your values, you will start to feel a lessening of your self-value, a lessening of your self-worth. Like, this is all I deserve. So when you're in a place where you're like, I know my worth, it means that when you're in situations that are not compatible with what your values are, and you've tried to work it out, you know that you have to move on from it. Otherwise, you're going to be taken advantage of. And so, as much as there can be this part of you that doesn't want to have to move forward, you can know it's what you have to do. It's not what you may prefer, but you can know I have to do this. And this can feel like definitely a wounding that's being addressed here. I think that ultimately with Three of Swords and King of Pentacles, this feels like something that already is going on, but in order for you to move forward, you're going to have to come face to face with this. And this can be hangups that you have about your own self-worth and what you have to offer and what you can provide for yourself. Because this can be situations where you're looking to other people to provide for you, not stepping into this role of the King of Pentacles yourself, and then you're always sort of at the mercy of whoever else is on the other end of this. And so this can be a wounding having to do with your principles. It can have to do with your career. It can have to do with your independence and your self-sufficiency. And most of all, this has to do with, if you are showing up and you are playing the role of the King of Pentacles, then there is a need for you to be in a situation that feels like it recognizes you and what you have to offer. This can be an authority figure wound, or like a father or masculine energy wound that is being worked out, or like a partner wound that is being worked out, that is specifically connected with possibly relying on others to step into this energy of the King of Pentacles, and then feeling like you're at the mercy of that, and then you ultimately going to step up into this position. This can mean that you're in some type of position where you can look at other people and be like, I was supposed to be able to rely on you or trust on you to show up here and to be doing what you were supposed to do. And rather than relying on somebody else to be doing that, you're going to be stepping into this role for yourself now. What this can also mean too is that, I'm getting some other stuff coming through. What this can also mean too is that this can be a bit of an ego wound here. And why would that be? It can be because having Three of Swords here, this is going to be having to do with like expectations that you put on yourself, and also attachments that you have to roles that you play, and having to face something that can feel painful that's associated with this. Like there's sort of a detaching from something that you were identifying with that can feel like it comes from a place of pain, it comes from a place of trauma, and it keeps you circulating in a cycle that you don't want to be within anymore. So there can be I'm finally coming face to face with this. This can be always, what this feels like, if this is just like a wound in itself, it can be like what you do is never good enough, like you never get enough recognition. It can feel like you always have to do more. You always have to do more. You always have to, it's that thing of like, I need to give more, I need to do more, like it's not enough, it's not enough, it's not enough. And your self-worth being really tied to showing up within this energy where you always feel like there's a slight, I don't want to say the word incompetence, it feels more so like a theme that is associated with your ability to take care of things and take care of yourself, and also be recognized and esteemed within that position. And this can definitely link back to a masculine or authority figure from when you were younger, or just a point in your time, in a point in time within your life that you felt like some type of wounding occurred. This can be having to face being in a position where maybe you felt like you couldn't provide for yourself in the way that you needed to, or this can also be, I feel like this is actually more so about how other people perceive you. It can be a wounding having to do with that, like, and this doesn't only have to be a work thing. This can be like, I was playing this role and I felt like I wasn't valued within that position. Like what I had to offer wasn't good enough. So there can be insecurities actually that stem from a place of wounding, a feeling like the part of you that is the King of Pentacles got wounded. And what is a wound to the part of you that is the King of Pentacles? This will be the part of you that there's questioning around independence, your ability to support yourself and to support those around you, your ability to, or perception of others, that you are seen as being useful, that you are seen as being competent, that you are seen as being reliable, that you are seen as being steady and stable, that you can carry out your business and do what needs to be done, and a wounding having to do with that. So you can feel like there was, like you got hurt while you were playing that character, and feel like something had happened there that made it feel like it's just, like it's never good enough. I keep getting that, like it coming back to that. Like there's always this reaching for more, but not from a place of ambition, from a place of insecurity. And this is something big that's being addressed in the month of October. So it can be difficult to do this, but it means that when you feel like you're being devalued, that there's something that's being done about it, because you're getting more familiar with what your values are and what you need for relationships to feel sustainable. Where you're giving something, where you are providing something, because that's what you do when you're in the role of the King of Pentacles. There's a job there that you're doing. And when you are doing a job and you feel like something is happening in a way that's not sustainable for you, and it actually just reinforces wounding that you have, this is about you facing that so you don't have to keep repeating this cycle anymore. But it can be something that still feels fresh to you, because I am seeing 3 of Swords here. So this is something that can feel like it's still quite potent, actually. Okay. We start the month with something happening that can just sort of put you in a bit of a bad mood. That's what I'm seeing happen immediately. Beyond it just feeling like a bad mood, this feels like something that goes on that can feel like it really dampens you and makes things difficult to maneuver through. When you feel like you're going through something, you've just gone through something challenging, you go through something that was hard to go through, there's that feeling afterward of, that was overwhelming and I'm sort of disconnected now, because I almost can't take any more connecting. So I'm sort of just sitting here and feeling my feelings or not feeling my feelings, and I don't want to take anything else on because I just went through this thing. What this can also mean is that this feels like less like something that's actively happening and more like an ending that you're coming to terms with, something that has happened that you're still coming to terms with, that you're still recovering from, and you can feel like just you are in recovery from that. So you're not popping up and feeling all spry and like, what's the next thing that I'm gonna get into? This is a part of you right now where you're coming to terms with a cycle that's closing out. 4 of Cups feels like a very normal response that you're having, where you're feeling like, I just want to be alone right now, or I just want to be to myself right now, or I'm feeling really sad right now, or I'm having a hard time even being grateful for what's in front of me or seeing what's in front of me, because this thing that's going on is just so big and such a big, intense experience that I'm having. So that's the vibe that I'm seeing in the beginning of the month, Leo. And there can just be a lot of stuff emotionally that's coming up that's being worked with. But then I'm seeing 6 of Pentacles and I'm seeing 10 of Cups, so things actually turn around pretty quickly. You go from feeling like this, which actually feels pretty temporary. It feels like this is just in the beginning of the month, And then as soon as you sort of step back in, you're like, wow, look at the stuff that I have around me. This feels like you're only in this place because of just going through something difficult. An ending is associated with this. So this is just your little, I need to recover from what's going on. And then immediately, like the next step that you take, you're snapped back into place where it feels like you're in touch with things again. You feel happy. Something feels like it's really good enough for you. I'm seeing that. And that was why you needed to make this choice. That was why this needed to happen. Because it feels like whatever this was that you were involved in before, it feels like it was no longer aligned anymore. So now this is happening, whether it was your choice or it was just stuff that happened. This moves you into a place with 6 of Pentacles and 10 of Cups. You feel like this really is compatible with my values, and I feel settled within. I feel at peace within. I feel very, very, very happy with this. So you go from that to this feeling over here. And then there's a moving forward of now I feel like I can sort of release this and let this go. And it's not such a big thing on my mind anymore. There can be fear that's coming up about moving forward, about what's going to happen. This happening, you feeling like that. 6 of Pentacles, feeling happy with this. Moving forward. You can be moving forward and know that you're moving forward and knowing this is where you need to go. At the same time, there can be a, like, what's going to be happening, anxiety about the future. And you can simultaneously, like, feel a little bit heartbroken about this adjustment as well. Because there is pain that's being addressed here. It can feel like the part of you that can normally be brave and just want to push through something and be ready to go is obscured a little bit by the part of you that there can be a lot of intensity and worry and concern just because of the unknown of what's going to be unfolding. It's like you simultaneously feel happy and also anxious about what's to come. There's some practical way that you are working with some pain of yours. Three of Swords feels like a heavy thing that you are feeling actively. But having 3 of Pentacles beneath it feels like you are working with that actively. So it can be like an active wound that you are actively working with. So you're doing something with that. I think also too, this is a working with your fear as well, with your anxiety having to do with the future. I'm getting confirmation of this. And also working with the part of yourself that has to work through things mentally. It's like you in the mental arena working with that part of yourself. So your mentality, your mental health, what's going on, thinking. That is an element of your energy that you're working with. And also your ability to communicate, your ability to express yourself, your ability to listen, to digest what's going on, and then respond accordingly. You can feel less motivated to show up for the practical stuff within your life during the month of October only because of what you're going through mentally. So basically on the mental plane you have something going on that's a lot of energy there. And so then on the like practical earth plane of things where there's like duties and roles and responsibilities and the stuff that I signed up for that I have to do, that I'm supposed to be doing, the things that I have like those obligations for, there can be a part of you that feels less inclined to do those things, less motivated to do those things because you're working something out up here, which is ultimately coming to a place of release. You're working through the ending, so it's a release and a transition that you're working with. What I see that's interesting here within the reading is that it feels like things are happy and simultaneously there's also pain too. But that, like, both of these things are happening. It's not like you're happy and then it's all ruined because pain is there, or like pain is there so then you don't care about anything at all anymore. It's more so like I'm seeing 10 of Cups. So this does indicate a sense of fulfillment. And I'm also seeing that there's somebody that you're working with yourself when it comes to your values and learning more about your values. But there can also be somebody around you that you're working with too, that you feel like they're showing up just as much as you are. And that something's actually working, something's actually compatible. And even though I'm seeing you moving forward with things, at the same time, you can be moving forward with a little bit of, I don't know if reticence is really the right word here because I'm seeing you actually are doing it. It just feels like there's a cautious feeling with the way that you're moving forward. I'm not saying that you need to be, but this feels like it comes more so from a place of anxiety. Because Six of Swords is ultimately like, I'm moving forward and this is where I'm meant to be going. We're meant to be going in this direction. And you can also be terrified simultaneously. You can be like, what's going to happen? Like, you know that you have to go this way, but also what's going to happen? And so what that means is that there's wounding that comes up that's being worked with, but I'm seeing you be in some type of engagement where this is the place where you can really work this out. Because it can even be stuff that doesn't allow you to feel all the way into happiness and joy, and that being something that's being addressed here. What unresolved stuff needs to be addressed so I can really feel that? I do see in the beginning of the month something going on where it feels like there's a need to participate in something, but you can be struggling with that. It's like somewhere where you're needed, where an exchange has to happen, but I'm seeing there be a struggle with that because of what's going on. It's the part of you that shows up physically, that you're like physically involved in things, you know, like you have a piece of paper and you hand it to the other person, or you're being like present, or like I'm going to be here at this time, and then you show up. That part of you that you have things to do in that realm feels like it's very affected by the part of you that's basically working through something mentally on a mental plane. And so the part of you that would normally be showing up and doing your thing feels impacted by what's going on mentally. And so this is like your air and your earth energy that sort of have to work together here through something where you still have to be showing up. And how do you still show up and do what needs to be done while you're working through something that's really difficult to work through? While still staying locked in and engaged, essentially. I do feel like something comes up only to be worked through, only to be addressed, but it can be something that feels very painful to work with and very painful to address, but it's so it can be worked with. It's not to just make you suffer. So if something is coming up and feeling like that, it's so it can be worked with, so that this can essentially be absolved. Okay. We are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I am sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.